All right, guys, so I want to review this video from a judge. If you read the caption, you're going to be able to tell what this story is about. So let me go ahead and start it. I don't want to bore you guys with my voice.
I have been married for 51 years. Got two sons, 42 and 40. Damn deadbeats. I'm still supporting the little boogers. Needed to take a test to see if any of us had a kidney good enough for my brother. Found out something interesting. They ain't my kids.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
There's somebody else's.
Happens all the time.
Of course, the only good thing is, I know it's not my fault that those two idiots got dumped into this world. Hell, I thought they took after their mother. Instead, they take after the plumber or the postman or the milkman, or, yeah, they were milkmen back when they came around. I mean, God only knows. It sure gets old. I do wish I knew who the real fathers were. And they ain't the same. She was bopping a couple of different guys. But if I could figure out who they were, I've been practicing law long enough that I pretty well figure I could sue their ass and get all my money back that I sunk into those two deadbeats. It just chaps my ass.
Chaps my ass.
She couldn't tell me. I'd probably forgiven her. Maybe not. You know how it is. Yeah, boys, y'all need to go get your own paternity test. You can't tell by looking who's the daddy
Facts.
unless you're looking down at the genetic level. I've been in court thousands of times in paternity suits, and 4 out of 5 times, guy says he ain't the daddy, he's right. And the genetic test is the only way to prove it for sure. These women are hopping everything that looks fun. You thought you liked sex. You ain't nothing. Well, I guess that pretty well completes that story. I'll go home, start drafting up some divorce papers, see if I can't get free of that crazy bitch. I mean, I stayed with her for the sake of the children and the grandchildren, now the great-grandchildren. But they ain't no kin of mine. Fuck 'em.
All right, so I'm going to react from the dad side of things. I'm sure that there are mothers out there who also aren't fans of the judges in family court. It seems like this guy was a family court judge, so it's crazy that he is having to deal with this situation because when I went through the whole situation of filing for 50-50 for my daughter, what I realized was you didn't have to do a paternity test. The way the court system looks at you is, hey, you're filing for custody, so that means that you know that these kids are yours. Getting a paternity test isn't expensive. I think it's like $50 to $100. And if your kids are young, they're probably not even going to remember that you did the exam. Because when you get the kit, all you have to do is take the Q-tip and just kind of, get their spit, then do the same for you, and then send it into the lab. Because if you think about it, you're going to end up paying thousands of dollars to fight for kids that you think are your kids. You're going to ask mom, and if she doesn't want you to have custody, she's not going to say, oh, yeah, they're your kids. There are some mothers that are totally fine with you not having custody but paying child support. So if you want to think that those aren't your kids but you don't want to do the paternity test, they're not going to discourage you from having your doubts. So you can do the kit. You don't need mom's permission. If you do it and mom finds out, she may get angry, but at least you have the peace of mind knowing that they're your kids. Now, this video is going to be funny for some people because remember, a lot of people are dealing with family court, and a lot of people, men and women, they don't like the judges. So this guy probably had to rule over tons of cases and probably made some bad decisions in some of the cases because nobody's perfect. At the end of the day, you don't know these two people, so all the judges have to figure out based on both parties' stories, like what makes sense. So if you're a good dad, but mom has a great story, or you maybe slipped up one time, that could totally affect your custody situation. So a lot of men don't like judges. I have a neutral stance on them because I was granted 50-50. And the reason why it probably didn't take as long as it should was because mom eventually decided to settle because they wanted to push the trial date back. I was going to go to trial after mediation failed. Cost me like another 6,000 from mediation to the 8 months later that I was supposed to go to trial, and then they wanted to push it back more. So, if you push it back, there's always a chance that your retainer balance is going to be low. So, yeah, this whole family court thing is interesting. So now most people are probably going to say, damn, it couldn't have happened to a better person. It happened to a family court judge. I mean, it sounds like he's a family court judge, and you see now he's upset. So many years spent raising these two boys, and it sounds like he's not proud of them. He calls them deadbeats, and then he's not happy with the wife that he stayed with, because a lot of men are staying in marriages that they're not happy about because they're staying for the kids. So he stayed in an unhappy marriage for his kids, and then now he's a judge complaining about it. A lot of people are gonna have a field day about this because paternity tests should be mandatory. It shouldn't be optional. Like, if we're gonna say men need to pay child support, then we need to make sure that the paternity test is done. And once you have the paternity established by the test and not by you signing a birth certificate in some states, it makes more sense to me. But yeah, you could totally go through the whole process not having to do that paternity test unless you make a big deal about it or you just do it. So this is an interesting story. But tell me what you guys think about this guy's story. I was laughing not because I was laughing at him. I was laughing because he was saying all kinds of funny words, and yeah, he's an older guy, so it's just funny as hell, some of the words that he was saying. But give me your opinion.